Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Build Something Live, the Wednesday live stream. I hope you're doing well. If you hear birds chirping, it's because I have my windows open because it is an absolute gorgeous day. So I hope you will forgive me for enjoying a nice, I guess pre-summer breeze, right? It's not quite summer yet until next week, but anyway, I hope you're doing well. Gosh, my microphone is in frame. All right, there we go. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know in the comments where you're coming from, if you have any questions, or just to say hello. Before we dive into all of this, I know I primarily promote YouTube. YouTube is the primary place I stream, but I've been using Restream. And now I'm over on Twitch and on Facebook as well. So, hey Todd, thanks for being here. Appreciate you always joining. I'm glad I started streaming to Facebook because I get really good engagement over there, and Todd's one of the fine folks who offers that engagement. So, I am streaming on YouTube, on Twitch, and over on Facebook as well. So Facebook is on the public stream. It's a public post. So I guess if you follow, I think you can follow me. I only really friend people that I personally know because that's generally more personal stuff. But the worky related stuff in the live streams I do make public. But subscribe wherever. On YouTube is generally where I will ask you to do that. Zach, yes, were you the one who recommended Restream? Because it's been great. I know I'm enjoying it, and then Dave Shrine recommended Restream chat, where I can send a message to almost all the places I'm streaming. It says that Facebook is read-only, so the comments might not go over to Facebook. I'll have to look into that. They probably don't allow that. So subscribe wherever you want to subscribe to. Zach was. Thank you, Zach. I also primarily promote YouTube because I'm trying to build my YouTube channel and get more people watching, things like that. And there is a financial benefit to me. I have super chats and super stickers enabled here. YouTube, I guess, thought I was doing good enough work to allow people to throw money at me. So if you want to see the lights behind me blink, you can support the stream directly by, giving $1 and the lights will blink. It's any amount. I think $1 is the minimum, but depending on how much you give, the lights blink a certain color. So if you're curious about a specific amount and a color, feel free to test it out. I should also let you know that after this stream is done, it goes away. And so if you are a Build Something Club member, I am building the live stream archive. And so I'm adding the unlisted posts there, and I'm organizing them by topic. So it's a big project, but I think it's going to be worth it. So you can sign up for buildsomething.club. It's $5 a month or $50 a year. I just put out a really good episode with Matt DeFeo this week. And he tells a riveting story about how he pivoted from being a cop to being a copywriter, essentially. And then next week will be the break for the podcast. But there will be a couple of bonus episodes for members. So buildsomething.club. Buildsomething.club. Okay, that's everything. So today I want to do a walkthrough of how I built podcast Liftoff. That's my newest redesign. And I am particularly proud of this one. And it's actually converting, which is baffling to me, really. I'm not a marketer. I'm a developer by trade who's gotten into the content game. And I've been learning a lot. And so I figured I'd share the tools and strategy for building this site. So let's do a little bit of this. I'll put my face here. I'm flexing a little bit here, because I did want to show off this picture. It might have been 5 years ago, this week at the very least, that I took this picture. It's from Florence, and I took this, I think, from Piazza di Michelangelo, maybe, and I was really proud of it. And this is one of I pay for Momentum. I pay for this plugin. Oh, this is all my notifications. Is that what this is called? I can't believe I forget, because everybody in the world uses it. But anyway, I pay for it, and so I added my own pictures, and I'm really proud of this one. So, custom pick for your Google homepage is what Todd said here. No, this is from the gosh, I'm really mad at myself for forgetting the name. Momentum. It is called Momentum. So if you pay for Momentum, you can add your own custom photos. So I've added a few of my favorite. These are both from these 3 are from my honeymoon. This one, I was really excited about this picture. Let's see if it changes. This couple just got engaged, and I snapped this photo. And I wish I gave it to them, but I didn't want to. I felt like kind of a weirdo being like, "Hey, I just took this picture of you." But I'm like really proud of this one. It's lovely. So anyway, this couple just got engaged. Todd is asking, is that a Chrome extension? It is, but it also just recently rolled out to Safari. And like right after I paid for it, which I was excited about because I was moving back to Safari, for a bunch of reasons that I could probably talk about in a blog post, but I just enjoy using Safari a lot more lately. So I think it's available on, I'll say Chrome, Firefox, and Safari now. And even better, right? If you watched WWDC, Safari, Apple just announced that Safari extensions are coming to the iPad and iPhone. So hopefully that means that this sort of thing will come to iOS as well, which would be super cool. Todd, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Always learn something. I appreciate you, and I appreciate that, and that's what I aim to do here. So let's get into the main event. So this is the new podcast, Liftoff. I guess I probably should have taken a screenshot of this, but Way Machine back, that's probably good enough, yeah. I probably should have taken a screenshot or a series of screenshots to showcase this before, but maybe the Wayback Machine will not let me down. I probably can't sing that. I was about to sing a Beatles song. Probably can't do that on the stream. I'll get in trouble. Song I have to play on the drums. So over on Twitter, I've asked what is your favorite hobby, and lots of people have opinions on that. A few people, I don't want to judge anybody. All the images are gone. So, well, this was like a mess. And it was like there were too many colors and too many things going on, and I just wanted something very clean. Hey, is that Kara? Kara, how are you? Are you going to Learning Dev Camp this year? Is it virtual? Is it in person? Let me know. That's where Kara and I met. So it says Unfiltered ID. I don't think that's a new name. And if it is, let me know. I will call you Unfiltered ID. But thanks for being on the stream. So stoked that you're here. So train of thought just lost. Okay, so there was a lot going on. I just wanted something cleaner and more direct. And so I am using WordPress naturally, and Cadence with cadence blocks. And cadence blocks essentially turns WordPress, or the block editor, into a page builder. So that was very appealing to me. I might have done a little bit of building in the open on previous streams. But I wanted to dig in to a WordPress, a Gutenberg based page builder, especially since Liquid Web bought Cadence, and I'm a big fan of that theme. Unfiltered ID is the name of the YouTube channel. I thought it was like some weird like privacy thing. Gosh, that's fantastic. Not allowed to go to in-person conferences yet per your company. Yeah, that's a bummer. Hopefully very soon though. I don't think any of like the major WordCamps are, I don't think there are any in-person WordCamps quite yet either. But I am looking forward to that. I'm going to like a local networking event next week in person with people. And I'm very excited about it. Shout out to Liam Dempsey, who reminded me about this event. And shout out to my babysitter who can stay longer so that I can go to the event. Okay, so I wanted something really clean. I wanted a hero section. The content more or less remained the same. I added these little highlights to kind of point out things to people. I'm still playing with this. Like the headline is always something I struggle with because I want to make sure I capture it right. And like the other day I tweeted like, what's your biggest struggle with podcasting? And I got like this less than helpful responses, right? People saying like, what makes you, I don't want to start a podcast. And I want to be like, well, nothing is stopping you then. If you don't want to, nothing is stopping you. Somebody said it's because they're like a white dude. And I was like, all right, like you can use your platform to elevate other voices or whatever. But like, I can't be like, launch your podcast even if you're a white dude. Yes. Yeah, I agree. Headlines are hard, and with copy, I don't want to sound like a blowhard. That's exactly right. And like trying to capture the problem, you kind of have to a little bit, right? It's like writing a bio where you brag about yourself. I don't really like to do that either. That's why I hired somebody to write my bio for me. Bridget Willard wrote it, and then Brittany Lynn and her team added to it and spruced it up a bit. So. So I wrote this copy myself because this was very like legit. My business was saved by my podcast. Trust logos, I want a nice way to do that. Shout out to Paul Lacey who gave me a video to testimonial. And then this section, I think the curriculum is what needed maybe the biggest the biggest review because it was just like a bunch of text. So I created an accordion. I think Cadence has an accordion. Yeah, this is definitely Cadence accordion. And then I split it into two because the other I gotta fix that. The other big change that I made is that I split the course into 3 levels. This was advice from Chris Lemma. Through his blog. It wasn't advice he personally gave to me, though I really feel like he was talking to me. Where he mentioned that you should have three price points for your course, and really that's like pretty common marketing that I tell people. And I just forgot with the course, right? So now there's a light version where it only teaches you to launch your podcast. The full version, which on top of launching teaches you how to create like a system. I should probably put the word, people love the word system, right? I should put the word system in creating consistent content. how to make money, sponsors, and a bunch more. And then the build your website course as well, if you want to do that. And then Pro, where you'll get some one-on-one time with me if you want to buy the whole course and then become a pro. And then the FAQ section. So let's see, question from Kara here. Yes. Curriculum, do you use LearnDash as your plugin? I definitely do. I have, I think it's been like 5 years since I launched my online courses. Justin Ferriman was one of the first sponsors of my podcast. And he asked what I was using for my own courses, and I was using Sensei, the WooCommerce add-on at the time. And I was writing a bunch of custom code, because this was like before Sensei got good again. And like, I did check it out. I was talking to, at the last in-person WordCamp I went to, one of the lead developers for Sensei right before they relaunched. And but before it got good, I was like writing a bunch of custom code, and then I tried LearnDash, and that did everything that I was writing custom code for, and I was like, yes. So he gave me a free license for a few years, and I think I pay for it now. Like, I just felt weird asking him to like re-up my free license, because first of all, it's an incredible price, and second of all, it just brings me so much value, and I feel like you should pay for value. I tell people to pay for value, and I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't, right? So, I mean, like, being a plugin reviewer YouTuber, like, there's the benefit of, like, that is a benefit, right? Getting some free plugins and stuff, but LearnDash is core to my business. Like, I wouldn't be able to run my business without LearnDash. LearnDash is a smoking deal. Now, Kara, are you still in higher ed? Because if you're in higher ed and using LearnDash, it's a complete steal. Like, something that's less, is it still less than $200 a year? Because I was in higher ed, and I know how much we paid for software that's not even remotely as good. Okay, so $329 for 25 site licenses, right? So, hell no, I totally out of higher ed. That's kind of how I felt when I left. I still like think about, like, it was like a cheery gig, right? Because like not a lot was expected of you, but there was like so much red tape and infighting, and like people are weirdly cutthroat in higher ed. I thought it was so weird that people at my higher ed institution were like super cutthroat about like middle management jobs. I'm like, we're not vying for CEO of Disney here. But yeah, so me too. But if you're in higher ed, like $329 a year is a complete steal, because like Banner, which is like what a lot of higher ed institutions use, or like Luminous, which is what a lot of higher ed institutions use, are like $50,000 a year at least for an institution of my size, of my university size. And we were a smaller institution. So, higher ed is the weirdest place I've ever worked, and I'm a former Amazonian. I'm gonna say the same, right? It was, I had a couple of really great bosses, and then I had a couple who were just the ones that made me not want to work there anymore. Yeah, super weird. I always described working in higher ed as, they're like a giant, like, global corporation on a nonprofit's budget. So, like, they have all the red tape and structure and silos and cutthroatiness as a really big corporation, but they're, like, constantly worried about spending money. That's how I always described higher ed. It's like the worst of both worlds, really. I mean, that said, like, great benefits, and like it's not all bad. But I'm glad for my experience there, and I'm glad I subsequently left there for other experiences. Okay, so let's talk about, oh gosh, I didn't even highlight what I think is probably the best. So this was just the landing page. I have a why podcasting page too, and this is really like the cornerstone content of this page, kind of convincing people that they need to have a podcast, and then they can enroll. I need to fix this button actually, because I changed it from 97 to 79. Playing with prices. I'll change that button. But then I also have the Done For You service. And the Done For You service, again, this pricing table is made from cadence blocks, which is great. So I'll dive into this in a second. But I also integrated WP Simple Pay. So if somebody wants to schedule a planning call with me, they just pay right on the page. And something that I need to still, like, it's on my to-do list for today to implement is the onboarding process once someone clicks one of these buttons for purchase. Because somebody did it recently and I realized I didn't have an onboarding process for it. Because I assumed, this is like imposter syndrome. I assumed that people would email me and then I'd have to direct them to this site. But recently someone just Googled me, or Googled maybe Done For You podcasting, and came across this page and paid for the consulting call without ever talking to me, which is what I want and not what I expected people to do. So again, this is starting to convert and I'm real excited about it. And then the launch is extra interesting because this allows WP Simple Pay. I will dive into this because it's super cool and flexible. And also a steal. Like, I've already made, like, I don't know, 10 times what I've paid for it. Probably because it's so easy. Like, the modal I think is cadences. Or maybe it's not. I'll double check. But WP Simple Pay also allows you to have a setup price and then a subscription. And so this is really good for, again, MMR, and I was charging people like 10 or 12 episodes at a time, and there's like a big sticker shock with that. So this is like pay the setup fee now, and then we'll get into the episodes later. So I think this makes the price a little easier for people. And then I have the just the episode. So they'll pay for 4 episodes today and then every 30 days. So, let's see. Kara, thanks for being here, and thanks for participating and contributing so much. Typeform and Stripe integration to get money for resume and portfolio reviews. I'd love to redo my site, but the thought overwhelmed me. You have my email address, right? Email me. Let's chat. Because I'm always looking for good content to do, and if you're just looking for something really simple, let's chat. Todd asking, what did I use for the little pop-up pay box? Let's do that right now, actually. So I'll go into this page, or page builder, right? So you can see what Cadence is going to look like on the back end. Which is, I mean, pretty close to the main site. I wish we'll probably have this more with full site editing as it rolls out even more. But I wish it looked more like the front end. But again, that's like the whole point of full site editing. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this is a pop-up content block that's created by Cadence. So let's see, pop-up. So there's the modal block that's added by Cadence blocks, and that creates the button, and then the pop-up content is its own little block editor. And I use the shortcut to bring up the WP Simple Pay form. So WP Simple Pay does allow for a modal. And I don't know why I didn't just use WP Simple Pay. I think because there was like other places I wanted to use this kind of. But yeah, the payment form is WP Simple Pay. So if we go back here, make sure there's no customer. Yeah, it's just reports. Okay. Yeah, so that's the great thing about WP Simple Pay is well, so okay, cool. So Todd knows about WP Simple Pay, but is asking about the modal specifically. Yeah, so if I create a new form here, it does allow for an overlay, and I guess I would just like lay this shortcode down somewhere. I would lay the shortcode down in the pricing table, but I wanted to control the buttons. Specifically, I wanted the propel button to be orange on the darker gray background. So that's why I did the modal, and I just thought that was neat. So I did the form and I embedded it. Other parts of this, if we look at the customizer, something I really like about Cadence is how involved the customizer is. This is Cadence Pro. So I was able to create this really simple layout. This button is not part of the navigation. This is a separate button, which I also like because I've like added like a button class to the navigation, and like sometimes it gets like totally broken. So it's nice that this button is flexible and separate from the main navigation. We've got the logo, and then you can kind of change it for header and footer. So for example, we have this trigger button here, right? So when people click on that, the drawer pops out. My New York accent doesn't allow me to say this word correctly. And you can style this, and you can again add content. So drawer contents. You can style that as well. So this is again stuff that I found kind of in the midst of playing with Cadence. I also use Astra, so like how does this compare to Astra? I like that Cadence has the blocks, and they just rolled out what I think, they just rolled out something which I think makes Astra better, but Cadence just rolled it out, and Cadence calls it elements, Astra calls it templates, but basically you can create content and then hook into it. And I think this is actually like the Astra version of it was broken for the block editor, but let's just say default, and then I can create this content and choose where to display it. So like all singular, archives, paged, single pages. I can add these rules, exclude set, user settings, visible to logged in, logged out, and device settings, expires. So this basically, let me show you, I guess, let me give you a concrete example. How I built it uses Astra. And so if we go to the articles and then, actually no, not the articles. Let's go to the podcast episodes. If we scroll to the bottom here, want even more great content. This is a section that I created using the Astra templates, and I said put it on the bottom of every post in the episode category. So it's only showing up here. I didn't need to write a hook or anything like that. I don't need to add it manually. And Astra actually, so maybe Astra's is still better. Astra has really interesting display settings to say, show after X number of blocks. And so I'm logged out here. So if I go to an article, if I scroll, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So after 7 blocks, show this piece of content. So this is automatically, for logged out users, automatically inserting this little call to action, which, I mean, needs to look nicer. But this was like not something I thought would work. And then scroll down here and there's a block pattern I created with Restrict Content Pro. But that's for a different day. So that's WP Simple Pay. That's the main way that people are paying for podcast Liftoff, the Done For You service. If you go to enroll today, these buttons take you to Creator Courses and actually add the item to your cart. I'm using something called Perfect Checkout now. On Creator Courses, Chris Lemma wrote, apparently I'm just deeply influenced by whatever Lemma writes on his blog, but he wrote about this recently and I was pretty curious because I want to improve my checkout process. And they're doing a free beta right now. I know there are other ones, right? Like Checkout WP, which I've tried in the past. But I'm really just trying stuff. And this one looked interesting. Integrates with Stripe and PayPal. So, it looks really nice. I'll probably do a video on this. But anyway, those buttons will take you directly to the cart page. And that's what I wanted, right? And actually now, let's maintain the cart. That's cool. Oh, it is 97. Gosh. I'm a mess, y'all. I'm a mess. Let me fix a couple of things right now. This says 79. So I need to fix 2 things. I guess I can change this back to 97, right? But I'm not going to do that. I want to keep the price at 97. So the first thing I'll do, you can see how I edit this page and how all of this is put together. I kind of pre-selected widths based on 1,000 pixels. So like this whole section is, I think, just the column. This whole content section is, maybe it is the row, is 750 pixels. There's a 500 pixel one. I guess this is like the main thing I really like about Cadence blocks is that it creates the row module for you, or the row block. Just reminded me of Roblox. My daughter is watching Roblox videos on YouTube now, and I'm scared. I'm like scared and confused. But this is what I really like. It's a really flexible row module. Maybe I'll do a demo of this. But let me first scroll down here. We're scrolling, enroll in podcast Liftoff for just $79. Maybe this is why that button's not converting, because people are like, what? I thought you said it was 79, not 97. This is always good, right? Logging into an e-commerce site, like your live e-commerce site on a live stream, unprepared. So products. I should probably also update. I just had new artwork done for this course, so I should probably update that too. Not that any of you, I mean, especially Zach, need to see how WooCommerce works. I shouldn't say any of you, right? Some of you do, but that's not the bill of goods I sold you for this live stream. Okay, so light should be 79. And let's change that image. Yeah, I created these in Canva, and it's just like terrible. So we'll do this really quick while I'm in here. And again, if you have any questions about, like, if you want to see a demo of cadence blocks, let me know. Or if you have questions about, like, can you do this with cadence blocks? I'm happy to explore that. So let's see. Podcast, dictionary, framework, slides. Did I not move? Did I move these? This is probably why I haven't done it yet, because like I looked at it on one computer and then I forgot to move it to the place. I had Design Pickle create better squares for me, better product images, and then I have a Hazel script that moves those from the downloads folder to from the downloads folder to this folder in Dropbox, but I don't think I have that set up on my newer laptop yet. So now I'm just scrambling to find it here. Sponsors, framework, thumbnails. No, I guess not. This is very compelling content. Thank you all for sticking with me through this. I guess you can see what my Design Pickle account's gonna look like now. If you don't know what Design Pickle is, it is a fantastic like graphic design service. So it's like it's like $500 a month, but you get like these unlimited requests. And they do a really good job. All right, so put that in downloads and then just watch it get moved. Turn up the music a little bit. Okay. So, Design Pickle. Why is it organized like this? I don't like this. Is this today? Yeah. And then I'll upload the 3 squares. We've got full. We got pro. Oh, yeah, right. So let's see. I think I like that background the best. So we'll do those. That's the other thing. They give you like nice variations. Full, pro, and light. It would be nice if I had like affiliate links ready for this sort of thing. Hey, I do. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, because again, Facebook can't get the comments, but if you go to casabona.org/go/design-pickle, which is just the best. I should probably start making affiliate links with my joec.live URL, because that's like easier to say. I can just say joec.live/dp or something like that. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll remove this product image and replace it with... Let's go back to the well here. See, the product images are square, right? See, I should have told him to create a variation without the flag. But we'll do that one. And then I can remove the flag later. I'm capable of that part at least. Okay. So let's change the other 2 variations. Gosh, just so much better. I am not good at graphic design. I'm like not even good at like just picking a font that goes well with everything. all of my, you know how for a long time, like you could tell a WordPress theme just by looking at it. You're just like, yep, that's a WordPress theme. I feel like that's what Canva images are now. Like you just look at something that somebody shared and you're like, yep, that was made with Canva. And the point of me going over here actually was that I actually have the product page redirect to this page now. Because I want this to be the sales page. I don't understand why with the block editor, like you can't make nicer looking sales pages with WooCommerce. Like that just baffles me. Not to say that I would do that because I have its own domain, and with my Gutenberg course, I am going to have its own domain as well. But like just the fact that the block editor is not enabled with WooCommerce yet is insane. Am I mistaken? People on the stream, like, is there something that I don't know? Let me know if it is. And I've just had the classic editor enabled. So maybe the next thing I'll do here, right, is we can kind of deeper dive into this page. Is maybe I can add these images to the pricing table here. So let's see, I'll add a block, make it an image. This might look completely terrible. Like this might be a bad idea. Let's find out. Okay. Something else that drives me crazy, because I like live in Dropbox most of my day. Something that drives me absolutely crazy is Dropbox files don't show up in recent on Mac. So I always go to recent first, and I'm like, right, Dropbox. And you know what? I can actually use the lighter images here, because that will... Oh, no, it really won't. Move that above the heading. Maybe I can just remove the heading. Does this look good? This doesn't look good. No, this doesn't look good. What I should do, maybe, is here. Somewhere where I can actually grab and insert content. No, that's a spacer, I guess. Oh gosh. Okay, I just pressed the down key and the thing I was looking for was revealed to me. So I had him make a bigger version of the banner. Maybe... Boop. No. Wow. Well, fiddlesticks. Not usually the word I would say. But this is a kid's stream. This is a family-friendly stream. That's more what I wanted. Align center. Full. This is gonna look crummy. This looks crummy. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll use that branding elsewhere. Update. Okay. Alright, so what else about this site in the waning minutes? If you have any questions, let me know. This site is hosted by Nexus. All of my important sites are hosted by Nexus. I am actually in the process of adding a blog. That's another project for me for today, and my VA. I made what I believe is a a strong error in judgment, because I thought I'll just write all of my blog posts, all of my articles on casabona.org, and I will have different upsells based on that. And for a while I did that, right? Because I was using Astra, I could use those custom templates, and I could say if it's in the podcasting, blah, blah, show the podcasting content upgrade. And then I was like kind of sick of having to mix and match my own fonts and stuff. So I was like, I just want a theme that does it all for me. And so I went with Authority Pro, a Studio Press theme, which I really like. It's nice. This is exactly what I wanted. Nice looking headlines, a nice font for reading. And I do have some automations to pull in and redirect content, right? So like anything with a red background is a YouTube video, anything with a blue background is a How I Built It episode. So I have this mechanism in place for Casabona to be the aggregator for all of my content. But I made a strong error in judgment because my personal blog is not getting the SEO juice for these specific services, right? So Podcast Liftoff, for example, really good name, really good content, not really showing up in search engines because it's like 3 pages that aren't completely optimized. And if I want people reading articles, I want them to find them on this site. So one thing I'm doing, need to fix that. Well, this is not live yet, but one thing I'm doing is I'm adding a blog to Podcast Liftoff, and I'm moving all of my old podcasting articles from casabona.org to Podcast Liftoff, and then redirecting, doing like a permanent redirect, right? That's a 301 to Podcast Liftoff. I did the same thing with How I Built It, right? Because I recently rolled out a blog there because I want to write more there because I want to upsell my membership as the content upgrade there. So I moved like business related and tech tips to How I Built It. So now I'm writing on casabona.org and How I Built It and Podcast Liftoff, but they'll all have relevant content with the appropriate content upgrades. So that is the next project for Podcast Liftoff. And I really like Cadence's options for the blog, right? This is perfect. Maybe make this font size a little bit bigger. But I really like what they have to offer here. So that's my next big project with Podcast Liftoff. So media comments, Thirsty Affiliates. I had this enabled and then I disabled it. And now I'm going to enable it again since I'm adding the blog. And if you don't know, Thirsty Affiliates is essentially an affiliate link manager that creates the redirects for you, and then if you pay for Pro, it auto links keywords in the post. I actually did a video about that on this channel recently, last week I think, how to create pretty links. And I show with redirection, which is my favorite redirect plugin because it's like unobtrusive and doesn't bother you and works well. And then Thirsty Affiliates as well. So I really like Thirsty Affiliates, especially for the auto linker. WP Simple Pay, I just showed that. I'm not actually using Ninja Forms for anything right now because my original call to action on the site was fill out this form and we'll get the ball rolling on whatever. And now it's like, just pay for it. If you want it, pay for it. So I'm not really using Ninja Forms right now. Appearance and Customizer, we talked a little bit about that. And then Cadence blocks. There are lots of options for Cadence blocks. And again, that's another thing I really like about this, right? This is the fact that I didn't want to use Beaver Builder anymore. Nothing against Beaver Builder. I still love Beaver Builder and I use it on most of my other sites, but I just didn't want to for Podcast Liftoff. I thought this is a pretty bare bones site, right? It has really 3 main pieces of content. I would love to see if I could just do it in Gutenberg, and I couldn't with just core Gutenberg, but with Cadence blocks I could. So that is basically this walkthrough. Let me... I'll just give a quick demo of Cadence. I do have a video on Cadence as well. But I'll just create a new page here. Always good to do things live. Man, Yoast like really eats the whole page. So Cadence demo. And there's a couple of things to note here, right? They've got a design library, which is really nice. Astra also has this. So like my pricing table is based on this. And it's got a bunch of different sections, which are probably block patterns. If I had to wager a guess, probably block patterns. I use this one as well. It's like picture with stuff on either side. I love that one. So they've got a few nice sections. And then they have like starter packs for full pages. And again, this is, if I was starting from scratch, I would absolutely use something like this. And I probably will for the Gutenberg course. Though for the Gutenberg course, I might, well, no. I won't just use core Gutenberg because I want the sales page to be good and stand out and stuff. So like this might work, or there's like a design course, right? This is probably good for that. But so there's the Cadence design library. And then there are these two additional buttons here, right? And one is the page settings. You can set these in the customizer, but then you can override them on each individual page or post. So you can say show or hide the page title. My default, I think, is to hide it. I should check that though. And then you could do normal, narrow, full width, left, sidebar, right sidebar, content, default, boxed or unboxed, right? So like if you want the whole page builder experience, you probably want full width, unboxed, and then you control the width through each individual row. Content vertical padding, featured image, disable header and footer. So you can create these landing pages. So that's the first set of settings. And then the Cadence blocks controls. Something I absolutely love about Cadence that like 2021 does, but I haven't seen it anywhere else, is you can create a color palette, and you can actually create like 3 different color palettes. So if you're managing like different parts of a site and you have different color schemes, you can do that here. But I love that because it makes my brand colors easily accessible here. And then I can have some defaults for the blocks, you know, these specific blocks. How do I want it laid out? Icon list is one I use a lot on how I built it. So it might be different because I'm not using Cadence blocks over there, but and then row layout. So this is perfect. When I was building this site, I was like, I wish this was more consistent, and it could have been. It could have been. And then you have your blocks, right? So if we want to do like a modal or whatever, we have the button, and then there's a block. You know, there's another block editor in here. So that's a quick tour, and then actually I'll just show you. You know, this is all the blue icons are Cadence blocks. I don't know if you can see that. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. So it's got spacer, divider. This is like better than the default one. Advanced button, better than the default one. Tabs, icons, there's a form. What I wish, I'm actually testing, I hope Lindsay Miller's okay with me mentioning this. But what I wish for more of these blocks, right, is email settings. I wish I could create an opt-in form using ConvertKit, and most of the tools I've seen that do this. Well, it looks like this doesn't actually support. Oh yeah, MailChimp or Webhook. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so this is really smart actually. I'll have to test this out. Right. So there's only like a handful of email content managers, or I forget what I did a webinar recently with Leslie Sim, and she mentioned the acronym, but these email newsletter programs like MailChimp and ConvertKit, and MailChimp is always on there. Sendinblue is another one that's often on there. ConvertKit is very rarely on there, and that frustrates me. And Lindsay Miller, Lindsay, I hope this is okay for me to mention, but I've been testing a plugin that she's been working on with, I want to say Josh Eaton. I think it's Josh. Sorry if it's Justin St. John. Guys, I always confuse you. Not like if I saw you in real life, but like in my head. So Cadence does something clever here where you can choose a webhook. So I just checked that. Where does the webhook show up? Webhook settings. So theoretically what I could do here is have this form content sent to Zapier, and then Zapier can connect to ConvertKit. So maybe I'll try that out. Maybe I'll make a video. Writing implement. Use the back of my analog card. And then of course, like, I don't have a pen like within arm's length. So I'm gonna write this down. Video Cadence form with webhook to ConvertKit. So Todd, if you're still here, I'm learning something from me today just by randomly clicking around showing you guys stuff. That's a good idea for a video, I think. Okay, so I just really, anyway, my whole point of this is I really like what Cadence has to offer here. There's a table of contents block, portfolio, grid, carousel, user info. These are all good blocks to have that most of them are not going to be native inside of Gutenberg. So let's call the live stream there. If you are still here and you have any questions, let me know in the next 30. I guess I'm going to say 30 seconds is going to be over. So I'll wait another 30 seconds while I do my sign off. Thank you very much for coming. Shout out to Kara. Check out Unfiltered ID, her YouTube channel, because she's super cool. I went to One Learning Dev Camp. This is like an e-learning conference that I think is consistently out in Utah, but I'm not sure. Salt Lake City, I think, each time. And I went out there. Salt Lake City, beautiful city. You can like see mountains from the campus you're on. It's amazing. But anyway, I went to one because I was genuinely interested in going to conferences outside of WordCamps. I got accepted to speak, and I met Kara, and she was super cool. So I'm glad that we stayed connected. So check out her channel. Check out Design Pickle and Cadence, of course. And yeah, thanks so much. If you would be so kind as to subscribe to this channel, I'd appreciate it. If you want to get notified when I go live, which is generally Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, click the bell and you'll get notified. If you want to watch this live stream again later, or if you're like, Joe talked about this thing with webhooks, what was that? I don't remember. This will be in the members archive over at buildsomething.club, where you can sign up for $5 a month or $50 a year, get 2 months free. And if you do sign up, you get a member chip. If you enroll this year, it'll have the year you enrolled on it. Established, 2021. I just dropped it. Not great with my hands. All right, so that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, get out there and build something.